these homes, which operated from the 1920s to the 1990s, death rates were high. Nearly 800 children died at one institution in County Galway. Nearly 2,000 babies were sent abroad for adoption, and campaigners say this was often against the mother's will. One of the homes likely to be examined is Bessborough House in Cork, and the BBC's Fergal Keane has been speaking to some who lived there.
Stand above Cork and you sense how religion once dominated Irish life from cradle to grave. Education, criminal justice, health, a nation's welfare subcontracted to the church. Like here at Bessborough House, where nuns of the Sacred Heart Order kept a home for unmarried pregnant women. Terry Harrison came here in 1973, aged 18, one of thousands sent to such homes by their families.
Do you know, the one thing that got to most of us was the times when they'd say to you, "You're here because nobody wants you. You're here because nobody cares about you. You're here because you have sinned."
Terry gave birth in another church-run home and claims her baby was then adopted without her permission.
He vanished into a black pit. Just a black pit. It's like his life was stolen and mine. And he was never away from me. His birthday every October on the 15th. He was born at 6:30 in the morning. He weighed 6 pounds, 6 ounces. And he was beautiful. He was beautiful.
From the state's beginnings, there was public piety and puritanical morality. Those seen as sexual sinners were cast into moral and often physical exile. Thousands of babies were given up for adoption, hundreds sent to America from the church-run homes. Even women who signed legal papers often had little, if any, choice. Helen Murphy grew up in Cork, not knowing her birth mother was walking the city streets searching for her.
There was this yearning in her to find her child, so I suppose she always knew that she wasn't going to find me, somewhere deep inside, but she was looking for somebody who looked like the baby that she had given up. I don't know, because I've never been able to ask her, did you really believe that you'd see me?
She died 3 weeks before you...
She died 3 weeks before I found her, yeah.
Campaigners also want the inquiry to examine the use of hundreds of children in drug trials in the homes. Christopher Kerwin, born in Bessborough, believes marks in his body were caused by injections, but he can't find any record of what they were.
Right. They have to find out what was going on. I'm very upset, to be honest with you, because I think I'm the same as everybody else, and no other person I know has marks like these in their body, so why should I be treated any differently?
These are stories from a very different Ireland. The inquiry's been promised full cooperation by the nuns and by GlaxoSmithKline, whose predecessors ran the trials. But one senior figure from Bessborough insists no babies were adopted or vaccinated without a mother's permission.
I don't think it's fair, because we had all staff. We had a good staff. Some of them are still with us, and I think it's sad that it has come to this. We give our lives to looking after the girls, and we're certainly not appreciated for doing it.
The inquiry has searching questions for church and state. The high mortality rates in the homes and the location of dead infants' graves are two of the most poignant questions awaiting explanation. In Bessborough, as in other homes, only a small number of those who died have a marked grave. Both church and state will find themselves in the dock during the commission of inquiry. But for the Irish nation, there are also larger questions. For those who worked in institutions or in state bodies and didn't speak out. For the Irish media, now so vigorous in its reporting of clerical abuse, but which for decades failed to hold power to account. They are questions for all who grew up in that Ireland, about the kind of society we tolerated for so long. Fergal Keane, BBC News, Cork.